this video is about my top 10 best RC cars of all time. Now I will say, I expect there to be quite a bit of debate on these cars. They're not all cars that I have owned, not by a long shot. Some came out at a time when I had very little money, when I was a student. Others have been quite some way out of production, or they're winning all their world championships back in the day. But mainly, I'm going to talk about why I think these top 10 are absolutely iconic RC cars out there. Talk about a little bit about the history behind each one of them and why they were groundbreaking for their time, both then and now. So hopefully, as I explained, my top 10 best RC cars of all time. To you, you will see why some of them are so iconic and hold a special place in my heart, and quite a few of them in RC car history. Now, I'll just say, if you think this is a great idea for a video, go out and shoot your own top 10 best RC cars. They can be current ones, or they can be a mix of current and old ones, just like this video. So without more ado, let's get straight down to RC car number 1. And that is the simply awesome Team Associated RC10. Now this was brought out as a classic edition a couple of years back to celebrate the 30th anniversary of this car. This was iconic at its time. Now, why is the Team Associated RC10 so highly rated? Well, if you check out Wikipedia, and it has its own Wikipedia page, you will see the alloy composite chassis, which was completely unique at the time and still is pretty much to this day. You can also read how it made a clean sweep of 1, 2, 3 at the IFMAR World Championships. It took 27 IFMAR victories pretty much in a row. Not only that, this car is one of the probably the only car featured in the Smithsonian Museum, for goodness sake. Now you see the link here. The Deadpool, the what, Richie? Anybody remember the Clint Eastwood movie, The Deadpool, where the radio control car chased him down the hill and then exploded, sounded like a nitro car? It was actually an RC10 modified to made to look like a Corvette on there, and they actually added the nitro sound in afterwards. It's the pictures of the original car you screen on there. And as a child growing up, that was one that was a bit out of my reach when it first came in, and even now they go on eBay for absolutely stupid money. But if you want to buy an absolutely classic piece of RC history, then get yourself an RC10. I will certainly do so at some point. That's on my RC car bucket list for sure. So on to number 2, and that would be the Tamiya World Willie. Now you can get a reproduction of this kit. The original one was built in the mid-80s or early 80s. Now, why was this so unique? You can't really tell from the Tamiya website on it. Not a great deal of information, but if you go over to Tamiya Base, which will be at Tamiya's, is well worth checking out. Things to know about the World Willie on here. Doesn't look much to start with there, but does it, boys? But why was it so unique at its time? It's on the back of it, right there. See these little springs? That's a wheelie bar, because this was just about the first ever RC car out there to pull wheelies. People were just blown away by this. I can remember standing outside a model shop in the 80s and like crowds of people just going, what the heck's that car doing? It's pulling wheelies. Nobody'd ever seen an RC car pull wheelies before World Willie came along. A used version of the original 80s one on eBay. The prices for a really good quality one, absolutely mind-blowing, but worth it if you can get hold of one. Yours truly does have a pile of bits in the garage, which is going to be a nice one of these days. Let's take a quick look at that. And this is an original 1980s first edition World Willie in the process of being restored. I've had to buy a new body for it, but everything else, the chassis, even down to the tyres and the wheels, completely original. But I'm stripping the whole thing down and fitting this new stainless steel kit to it. Speaking of those wheels, the original World Willie wheels, a set of those are like more than a set of Armour Infraction DB Hones. So if you're thinking of getting a World Willie and restoring it, make sure it's got the original tyres on. So hopefully at some point in the very near future, that pile of bits will look like World Willie here. But let's get on to car number 3. We have the simply awesome Traxxas TRX4. People may laugh at this choice, but this really did bring crawling to the masses out there. A lot of people out there were just used to fast buggies, monster trucks, etc. Never even looked at a crawler until Traxxas brought the TRX4 out. I know people that laughed hysterically that had been into crawling for years, saying this is going to be a pile of rubbish from Traxxas, not interested whatsoever. And then 3 months later, the same people were raving about the thing online, saying how good it was. The performance straight out the box, very, very hard to beat indeed, even to this day. It's certainly brought crawling out there to the masses, to my mind. Many people are into crawling now, would not have got into crawling without the Traxxas TRX4. So, love or hate Traxxas, occasionally they break ground for the better. Anyway, straight on to car number 4. We have the Kyosho Inferno 1/8 Nitro Buggy Kit. This is the RC car that yours truly has always wanted. Why is that, Richie boy? Well, if you check it out on Wikipedia, that's how much reverence this RC car holds. 1/8 scale Nitro, first released 1991 as the MP3, MP4. Now, this has 8 world titles under its belt. It was year after year as I was growing up and at university, etc. The thing is just truly dominant. Now, there is a reason why yours truly has not bought one of these so far. It is that price tag of $699.99, and that's discounted down at the minute. You need to get an engine on top of that, as well as all your radio gear on here, but you are buying quite possibly one of the ultimate handling RC cars over dirt that you could ever wish to own on the planet. So again, that is definitely there on my bucket list on there. I regularly used to watch the results in RC car magazines and check out the run of wins it has got on Wikipedia on it. Simply awesome, and that's what gets a place in my top 10. And at number 5 we have the simply awesome Armour Nero 6S BLX. Groundbreaking at its time. It had 3 separate lockable metal differentials, as you read on here. 4 modes: blast, wheelie, drift and climb, because those lockable differentials, just like the Traxxas car, TRX4, could be controlled from the transmitter. So on the fly, you could lock and unlock the diffs, meaning you could go drifting with the car, you could lock all 4 wheels up to go climbing with the car, although it did not make the best of crawlers on there. And in blast mode, with all the diffs unlocked, it was just like the ultimate hooligan of a car to drive. Very, very groundbreaking. Nobody had done anything like that before with the lockable or unlockable diffs in such a powerful car. Anyway, on there, you could buy it in 2 variants, as it says down here: diff brain fitted, diff brain optional on there. You had to have been absolutely crazy to buy this thing without the diff brain, and yours truly was lucky enough to pick up one of the first ones in the US to USA. Sold the truck, deeply regret that to this day. Unfortunately, a lawsuit came along which meant the death of the Nero. Anyway, with that in mind, let's move on to car number 6, which is... Just remember, guys, if you like what you see today, don't forget to subscribe. And that is the HPI Racing Savage. Long before the X-Max came along, the HPI Savage absolutely dominated the monster truck market. Nitro engine, if you read through the Wikipedia history of it here, started out with just a 3.4cc engine, but now we have the big block, as they call it, 4.6cc engine on here. Now, the HPI Savage dominated the market. The Traxxas 8S X-Max currently occupies, but it is a nitro car on there. But HPI Racing has got new investment in it. It's out of receivership now, and you can bet your bottom dollar somebody at HPI Racing is wanting that X-Max crown back, and they're probably going to do it with a new Savage. So keep your eyes posted on this one, but absolutely groundbreaking truck for the time. If you look on the Wikipedia page, again, that gives you some idea of how well liked this truck is. It actually says the current world record monster truck speed is held by the Savage at 74 miles an hour. Not sure if that's a stock one, but if so, that's pretty impressive on it. The original one, quite groundbreaking, 2-speed transmission, featured a reverse model that you could buy for it, and it went on through many different evolutions until you see the latest one, which is the Savage X 4.6 big block. There is very little that will trouble this car indeed. Certainly groundbreaking at the time and dominated the market before the X-Max hit the scene. Speaking of which, at number 7, with the Traxxas 8S X-Max. It does everything the HPI Racing Savage does and more, except with one huge advantage over it, in that the fact it's electric as opposed to nitro, so it's much cleaner to run. Not only that, it is very, very easy indeed to work on, very easy to repair if anything breaks on it, but not only that, it is supremely tough, and you can get stupid air out of the thing, as Kevin Tolbert has repeatedly shown the world. And as I say, when it first came on the market,
it really threw a spanner in the works with every other major monster truck manufacturer out there. Nobody had anything compared to this. Maybe a few people out there with 6S trucks, and then suddenly Traxxas were out here with the 8S X-Max, although originally this was just a 6S truck itself. But once the 8S version came along, then the writing was on the wall for a lot of people. So, love or hate Traxxas, you gotta love the 8S X-Max. Anyway, on to number 8. And that is the Losi Desert Buggy, or known as the Losi DBXLE. Just out now in a 2.0 variant on here. 8S 1/5 capable. Very, very different indeed to the Traxxas 8S X-Max. Whereas the Traxxas is probably the ultimate basher, this is probably the ultimate 8S speed king on here. Anyway, I do have one of these, so let's go out in the garage and have a quick look at it.
Now the Losi DBXLE sits much lower to the ground than an 8S Traxxas X-Max does. So whilst this is quite possibly the ultimate 8S basher,
now you need to bear in mind, with the batteries in, this weighs 33 pounds.
This is to my mind quite possibly the best 8S handling car out there. Yet it is not an ultimate basher at all. Yet I have got some of the biggest air, the furthest jumps that I've ever gone. I've gone with the Losi DBXLE, and that's why this one I think wins a spot in my heart in terms of the top 10. If anybody doesn't believe me, I'll put a link to some of the video of me jumping this thing down at Shell stands, where the thing is probably clearing 30 feet in the air and about 150 foot plus in distance, and it lands absolutely fine. Its other key advantage is, whilst it will do about 50-55 miles an hour like the 8S X-Max, with the Spectrum ABC on board, you can corner this thing on full throttle and it will just stick to the ground and corner like it's on rails, where the 8S X-Max might want to roll over on its side.
And there are RC cars which just tug at your heartstrings when you drive them. This is one of mine. Might not be everybody's on there, so this is open to debate, this top 10 on here. But if you drive one of these, hopefully you will see what I mean. It accelerates, corners, brakes, jumps like crazy. It's not the ultimate basher, but you can jump ridiculous distances with it. Out of all my RC cars, I probably use this the most when I'm on my own because of the danger level of it. You can't be jumping and going crazy with this thing when there's other people around. It's a car you've got to use really safely when you're on your own. Speaking of which, time to move on to car number 9. And I'm sorry to everyone that thinks I'm a Traxxas fanboy. I am not, but they took the TRX4 and they got a baseball bat and they nailed the thing out the park with the TRX6. They took what was probably one of the dominant crawlers on the market and converted it to something which would just climb over stupid stuff and drive at stupid speeds, particularly if you went through a brushless motor in it, like a few of us have done. But I got one of these, so let's go take a look at it.
Well, I regard this as just as groundbreaking as the original TRX4. Everybody sort of wondered with Traxxas when they came into the crawler market, was it going to be a pile of rubbish or not? It didn't. The TRX4 simply dominated, and they simply added another axle to this thing and upped the game again, fitting that great Mercedes AMG 6x6 body to it, which was an absolutely superb and inspired choice to my mind. Why is it so groundbreaking? Well, not only do you get just a stupid amount more traction than you do with the TRX4, which is already incredibly good, but you can fit all of your Traxxas TRX4 upgrades pretty much without fault to this car. The only downside to this, if you've got a TRX4 and you drive one of these, you will then want to sell your TRX4 and buy one of these without any shadow of a doubt. So to my mind, as I say, Traxxas just knocked it out of that park when they came out with the TRX6. Nobody was expecting that, certainly Axial weren't, and their timing. Axial came out with the Unimog 6x6 a couple of weeks earlier, and then Traxxas dropped the TRX6. Kaboom! Outstanding marketing to my mind, Traxxas. But car number 10 in my top 10 of best RC cars of all time has to be the Armour Infraction. Truly groundbreaking to my mind. In the past few years, people have thought up stuff like portal axles on crawlers, 2-speed gearboxes on nitro cars, reverse gearboxes on nitro cars. All of that was put in the shade when Armour came out with a car that could literally smoke the tyres off the car. Now this thing doesn't come with that body as standard, which does take quite a bit of time to paint, nor does it come with two of these Poseidon 1800 kV motors, which I would highly recommend fitting, and my regular viewers should be fairly familiar with this car, although not with this body on, as this is the 16S twin motored in fraction. But even a stock 6S car, it's just so much fun, it's untrue. You can drift the car around, but as you drift the car around and the tyres get warmed up, they smoke just like it's Ken Block doing a burnout on there. So you can have so much fun with the thing, it is untrue. But at the same time, if you gear it for speed, you can be nudging on 100 miles an hour with the stock car. But anyway, I left the armour in fraction to last, because to my mind, that's been one of the most groundbreaking RC cars to come out in years. Who would have thought that when I was growing up? RC cars that you can drift around and just provide real smoke off the tyres. Anyway, people, I'm sure you will have your say in the comments section below this video. And as I say, if you want to do your own top 10 or provoke your favourite YouTuber into doing their own top 10 best RC cars in the world, then please do so. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Well, thumbs up if you like this video, guys. Post any comments you might have in the comment section below the video and hit the circle below to subscribe. And if you do hit the circle, don't forget to hit the bell.